You don't want a fucking heart surgeon on you who's going, yeah, maybe. It's like, now I've got to get this right. This is happening.
So much blood spilled on the dance floor. Just like Oliver Twist, you know you're begging for more. Raw to the maximum, but round the lower. Sweat and clarity increase your vision. How we know I no badness about ya. And everyone push up your lighter. Let me see you bouncing in the area. Call the police, we come to murder. And so the music flows. Everybody knows. Messing for murder in the room tonight. You know we're bouncing everyone all tight. We keep on moving from the wrong to right. Roots Rock Riot.
Hi, we're back.
Right, third time lucky, hopefully. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex Alicia, and today on Zoom I am joined by a wonderful, extraordinary drummer of one of the best genre-bending bands, Skindred. It is Mr. Arya Goggin. Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
And you know what, I'm just going to say it. We've tried to do this and we got so far, and then Zoom caused many, many problems, and we lost that video, didn't we?
We did, unfortunately, but we're not going to let it get us down.
For anybody that doesn't know, how have you been getting on during lockdown? You know, what have you been up to with the band? How does like your normal day in lockdown compare to a day typically on tour with Skindred?
It's pretty similar. I've got my wife here as my TM, so she's telling me what to do and when I got to do it. She slips a little day sheet under the door. Of course, kidding. No. But it's very different.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, for chatting, I like to on tour go out and see the cities that we play in and try and see as much as I possibly can. So it's different being being stuck at home, but I haven't let it get me down.
No.
Being positive about it, just make the best of the situation. I get to, relax, get my body back in order. I had proper shoulder pains when we were on tour, and now, they seem to have gone away. I think playing the drums has been good. I want to get back to it as soon as possible, like everyone else. But
Yeah.
Day to day, it's sort of, I have a little Call of Duty group, so I go and murk people up online with my headset.
I think we're all doing the same, to be honest. But yeah, so that's what you've been up to, and of course, I mentioned before about the wonderful money raising thing that you've been doing for hospitals during like the pandemic. Your merch that's NHS based has done so well. So do you want to kind of just talk us through that a little bit and tell us how much you've kind of raised to this day?
It's lovely. I think at the moment we're on about £16,000, which blows my mind and blows the guys in the band's mind too. I mean, it's just it's a reflection of how cool our fans are, really. I think that's all that it's a testament to them, and we're just happy that we could have our name associated with something as great as the NHS. And if that's all that we were able to do during this lockdown, then I'll sleep well at night knowing we've raised a few quid for our friends and families who all have the NHS, and everyone knows someone who works as a key worker in the NHS, so it means a lot to us, and just thank you to our lovely fans for doing that.
Yeah,
support.
Definitely, and it's an amazing thing that you've done, and you should be so proud of yourselves. I think it's great that you've gone out of your way to use your platform for something really good, as well as obviously your music, and just on behalf of anybody that obviously knew that you were doing it, I just want to say thank you to you guys as well for all of your hard work and your efforts.
That's very kind of you. As long as all we can do as a band really is make sure. We can't even make sure. All we can do is have things out there to maybe put a smile on people's faces and make them, just forget about all the rubbish that's going on at the moment. So if that's listening to some music, watching a video, watching a live thing, buying some merch, just if there's anything that people need and they get from us, then that's great. So
yeah, definitely. So for you, as a kid starting out, trying to be in a band, why did you choose music? Why did you want that to be your career? I
mean, not to be cheesy, it didn't. I didn't choose it; it chose me. It sort of was something I didn't really know that I wanted it to be a career when I picked up some drumsticks, and I just thought I wanted to be in a band. I was like that. I was really hell bent on getting a band together and making music with other people, because as drummers know, it's like I don't like playing drums by myself. I get bored. I want to make music with other people and get the vibes,
Yeah, sure.
See the other guys smiling as you're playing. I think that's what it's always been for me. And I think as a kid, I didn't really understand that. I just knew that there's a guy in a video like Roger Taylor from Queen hitting those drums, provide Freddie to get up there and do his thing. I go, I want to do that. I don't know what that is, but I want to do that. And so when I joined Skindred, after years and years, it was like, okay, this is actually happening now, and I could see this was becoming, a job, but not a job, but like a passion. It was always a passion, but it was like, okay, this can be a career. We just got to hold our we just got to hold our shit together, really, and just not kill each other or break up. And that's that's the thing.
Yeah, and I think you've done that very successfully as well. We talked as well, didn't we, about the incline that you've had throughout the 20 plus years in Skindred, and how you find that better for you than kind of rising to success straight away, because you can stop at different goals, can't you, and work your way up.
I think if we, when the band started, I mean, the first album had a lot of success in the States. Yeah. But we weren't making any money out of it. It was successful in a way where it was like, okay, people know who we are. And I always think it is the catapult, I guess, to the next album and the next album after that, and touring. People start to know who we are even more, and buy into the band and enjoy the music, turn up to the shows. Yeah. And I always thought there were friends of ours or bands that we knew who just basically did their first record, exploded, bought mansions in Beverly Hills or whatever, or whatever they wanted to do. Yeah. And then that was it. Yeah. And I was always like, well, if we're just doing this, slow incline, I can keep thinking about the next thing. I haven't got it all, I think if you get everything you've always wanted straight away, then there's a lot of responsibility with that as well. And I don't think as a young kid, I feel like a young kid winning the lottery. It's like, you don't know what the fuck you're going to do you?
No.
We already knew that we'd won the lottery with the band because we were happy making music and doing what we wanted to do. So I'm thankful for the slow incline. And I think it's kept everyone grounded and, I'm hoping no one's head's too far up their arse. Shouldn't be.
I don't think so, no. Not from like how patient you're being even now during technical problems, and you could be sitting having another beer at home.
I'll let you into a secret. I've got nothing to do, so this is my day. So I could tell this story all day, every day.
Oh, brilliant. It's good to know. And we were also talking, weren't we, about like Download Festival being one of those goals, because you said, obviously you dream of being headline at Download, and that's still something that you guys want to do.
Yeah, I think you've got to have these little, I mean, they're not little, headline Download, that's not little, I don't mean that. I mean, you've got to have things you want to do, and it's not the ruling factor if we headline Download. That's not the point. It's about aspiring to do it. Yes. And the journey along the way of getting there and going, okay, it's us crawling up from the MySpace tent when we first played, and then getting on the main stage and then doing, do you know what I mean? It's that journey, looking back and going, okay, well, I know when I speak to people at Download, like the stage hands and all that sort of stuff, they go, you had one of the biggest crowds of the day. They always say it every year, and I'm always going, I know they're not lying. I used to think they say that to everyone, and then I go to Download and I go, they're not lying. Loads of people showed up, so it's not impossible. Why shouldn't we want to do that?
Obviously 20 plus years in Skindred can give you a lot of experiences and a lot of music knowledge about the industry and stuff. What advice would you give to your young self starting out, now knowing what you know about the industry and that kind of thing?
It's a difficult one, because I don't really look at I don't really regret anything, because that's where I am now. I think probably just take care of yourself a bit better. Don't be hard on yourself when you didn't need to be. We play music, we entertain people. We're not doing stuff like the NHS. We're here to bring a smile on people's faces or give some enjoyment and pleasure to them. And don't think you're doing something more important than what you actually are. Which is getting up on stage and shaking your bum around.
Having a good time.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's. I don't want to. I take it very seriously, and I think it's a privilege to be able to do it. But I don't want to take it. I don't want people to assume that I'm taking it to heart and taking it so seriously. It's like I know where we are and what we do. I think it's hopefully giving people a bit of escapism. You know, it should be a pleasurable thing, and that's where I look at it. And it shouldn't be music shouldn't be a competition as well. I would say that. I think when we were younger, it'd be like, who's getting that, and why are they doing this? Why are they like? Who cares? Focus on your own journeys. That's what I tell.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
It doesn't matter if there's someone who sold more records or is playing a bigger gig. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you just do you in it, and you do what makes you guys happy, and it will come.
I think so. I think that for anyone, you know, just perseverance, and people can smell also. They can smell bullshitters. They can tell people who aren't in it for the long game. Yeah. And I think I can see that people where it's like, never trust of someone who said I used to be into rock music.
Oh no. What do you mean you used to?
There you go.
It may be nice to reminisce since we're all missing live music. But Arya, what goes through your mind when you walk onto stage at a Skindred concert? Are you thinking about the set list? Are you thinking about the crowd? Your drums? What are you thinking about when you walk onto a stage?
I think I'm always thinking about the crowd, as in, is it going to be? There are some shows where, you know, we always give it our all. But the crowd don't necessarily. Some, you know, as a whole. So when you walk in sometimes to a room, you know, you'll look at the room before, you know, in the beginning of the day, and it's empty, and you're going, I wonder what kind of atmosphere it's going to be in there tonight. Yeah. And we can provide the entertainment if you like. Yeah. And the songs and that stuff. But it's the crowd that, if they come with us, that's when the magic happens. And you hope for the magic every night. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, and you were saying, weren't you, that one of your highlights was one of the final kind of tours that you did before lockdown hit back in 2019, weren't you? Because the crowds were so involved, weren't they, and they were so into your show. Yeah,
so we played in Spain, 2 headline shows in Spain. We do festivals in Spain. We're a good festival band in Spain, but headliner, you know, it's been hit or miss sometimes. And these 2 shows we did in Barcelona and Madrid were just, I was so blown away, because as we walked on, it's like they came to see us. Yeah, but I guess that's the weird thing about us in Skindred. We're always like, you know, people are coming to see us. We're like, you know, they really, we're another band afterwards. You know, it's that kind of thing. And so we were so blown away by how it felt like a home crowd.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
It's home, like a London show, or, you know, for Dan, a Bristol show, or, you know, Southampton. It felt like a hometown show. Yeah. And I think that was really special, you know, in a different country, different language. So if you can do that around the globe, then you're winning. And so.
Oh, for sure. The other thing that we were talking about, isn't it? It's just like, if you do 20 million shows of the same set list over and over again, you were saying how important it is to you to always bring your best, because people at the end show, it may be their first time seeing you, so it's important to give them the show that the first audience will get.
No, exactly. You're completely right. It's like I was saying, it's always someone's Friday night or Saturday night, even if it's Monday. For us, it's like it doesn't matter. The days sort of are insignificant. It's, you know, someone's gone out there, they paid money to come and watch your band, and they're having a beer, they get, you know, hopefully buy some merch. It's like they deserve the best show, whether that's 50,000 of them or, you know, 50. And I think we've always maintained that as a band. That's never I don't think we've ever been bummed out, you know. It's always been right, they get it. They have to get it. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, you've been doing this for so long, you're far away from home. It's like no one wants to bother being adequate or just surviving. You want to be on, you know, top level, top game.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't want a fucking heart surgeon on you who's going, maybe. It's like, now I've got to get this right. This is happening. You know, not saying I'm not drawing parallels to that, but like, you know, we're hard on ourselves in terms of giving the best show we can. It's got to be.
Yeah, of course.
And you can smell when someone else is not in the band, who's not, you know, quite there. And it's up to you to bring it out of them. If Mikey's doing it to me, or Dan's doing it to me, or I'm doing it to Benji, it's like, right, no, come on, let's go. Yeah.
And I think what's important is you are a unit when you're in a band, aren't you? Which is one of the things that you really wanted when you started out, isn't it? Is just to be in this kind of group where you're with other musicians and you can be like a bit of a brotherhood, which is obviously something that Skindred have, for sure. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lasted as long as you have.
That's it. I think with the band, I think it's very important when we talk about how long we've been together is the fact that we're all completely different. Which is why it's like if there were if there were 4 Benjis in the band, it wouldn't work. You can't really quantify chemistry. I think it's a good chemistry between the 4 of us. We have our ups and downs, of course, but I think the longevity is proof that it works for me.
Yeah.
Even though you want to kill them sometimes, they want to kill you. You've got to get through it.
Yeah. Definitely. That brings me on to my question about the re-release, which we'll get talking about in a bit more detail. But Roots Rock Riot is going to be re-released. It's coming soon. So just for a bit of background, if anybody doesn't know, but I'm sure if you're watching this, you do know because you're a Skindred fan. But it was 2007 released originally, and it was the second album that you guys had as a band, but with the actual permanent lineup. So I was just wondering why you decided to re-release that particular album, given the back catalogue that's huge of Skindred, of albums that you guys have. Why that one? Was it the history, of like reminiscing on those times maybe? Do you want to talk me through why you decided to do that?
Of course, there's a lot of reasons. I think the main reason was actually when you sign to a record label, you pretty much sign away your life in terms of your past recordings. And the deal we did with Roots Rock Riot enabled us to own it again.
Yeah.
And we were really lucky, and it was like, well, we can do this.
Yeah.
And it came back to us. So, with things like they go, well, why didn't you release so and so and so and so? It's like because we don't own them.
Yeah.
And Roots Rock, it was just by some stroke of whatever. It was like, well, yeah, it was the first record that was this lineup properly. Because obviously me and Mikey played on Babylon, the reissue and all that stuff. But this was we started writing for Roots Rock as soon as we joined the band. And so I think it was, it felt like the rebirth of the band again. The fact that we owned it was like, well, we want this on vinyl. I want a copy. I want a copy. We can do this. And we're not really worrying about any, bureaucracy within a record company trying to get their pound of flesh. It's like, it doesn't matter now.
No.
If people want the record, they can go and get it. That's all we ever. It's like, people go, what, can you release it on vinyl? It's like, well, yes, we can now.
And we will.
Yeah, exactly. It's as simple as that. Really as simple as that. It's like, oh, great. And, hopefully we can celebrate it. And I remember when Roots Rock Riot came out, I went to buy it in HMV in Exeter.
Right.
And it wasn't on the counter. They had to go in the back and get it. And Exeter's where I grew up. And they had to go in the back. I was absolutely devastated. I spoke to the other guys in the band, and it was just one of those things. It never had like this fanfare release over here, and I think it bothered us. Definitely bothered us because we were like, I can't even go in the fucking shop and buy it. I think Dan or someone had to order it, when it came out.
Your own album.
Yeah, and I was like, well, with this, it's now okay. Let's just put it out there, and if people want it, thanks to the internet and Facebook or whatever. You can order these things online, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, it's available for pre-order now. Is the date, the 26th of February, locked in? Is that definitely the release date?
Well, funny you should say that, because I got an email from the Skindred whatever. My management haven't told me this, but apparently because of COVID and them shutting warehouses down and all this stuff, it's pushed the vinyl back.
What?
I don't know when. Yeah.
So you don't know when? But it's been pushed back then?
It has been pushed back. I couldn't tell you the exact date, but I know it's been. I read it and I was saying, oh, that sucks. So I think I found out at the same time as everyone else did that it's been pushed back because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be next month.
Yeah.
But I know that vinyl takes. I think it's something like 16 weeks.
Right. Okay.
So we had it all. We had it all sorted.
Yeah.
In with how everything was running with COVID. Because we knew that delays were happening anyway. So we're like, okay, we've got enough time now. And I think this lockdown is just gone whoosh.
I know. Just stopped every single thing in its tracks again. I think everyone's really fed up with it now. But we'll look forward to the release of that. And talking about vinyl, it's going to be available in various colours, isn't it? So, and vinyl itself, and I know it's going to be on CD as well, isn't it? Like before.
Yeah, you can get the CD. I think we're going to do the CD with the extra tracks.
Yeah.
With the vinyl, we're actually releasing like another 7-inch, which is quite cool as well.
And they look great.
I think it just opens up a lot of things for us to do with, you know, how to look at our own music now we own it. It's like, okay, well, we can do a 7-inch. That's never occurred to me before. Right.
Yeah. It's good to experiment, but yeah, I love the fact that it's available in different colors because people can make it personal to them, can't they, and choose their favorite. But vinyl, you know, in general, obviously is going to be a physical thing that people can hold of Skindred. And how important is it for you guys to keep the traditional ways of receiving music and buying music alive? Is that important to you guys?
It's vastly important. Yeah, it's massively important. It should be celebrated, even if we don't even fucking play the record. Just to open it and have the smell and the touch and the feeling, and when you look at the liner notes being big and bold, because when you buy like an MP3 or something, it's like the artwork's like this big. It's a bit like that took someone days to like design.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Months, like hours go into like. I remember Roots Rock Riot, the record cover, right? That was days. We set that all up, the photo shoot. Benji was like in America at the time. We set everything up. It takes so long, and I think so for people to look at it and go, okay, well that looks cool. I can actually see it. When it's on like a little thing like this, you're like, and it sounds better. It looks better. Yeah. Also with the vinyl as well, we all got interviewed by our friend from Kerrang, James. Lovely. He interviewed all the liner notes. We got Matt Squire who produced it to come back on, and so I mean, I just think there's a celebration about opening up some new music. Yeah. Just, this is what I'm doing now with no distraction.
There's nothing like it. I mean, I kind of collect vinyls, and when I can, I got a lot of it from my dad, my family. It's all behind me. I got Bat Out of Hell 2 up there now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just certain ones, you know, that I like to. Like you say, even if you don't play them that day or whatever, they're just beautiful to look at, aren't they? And they're like they are a work of art, like a piece of art. But yeah, like for you guys with that like re-release, you touched on the extra editions of tracks. I know that one of them is going to be an acoustic. So do you want to talk to us about what we can expect from the extra bonus bits and bobs?
So if I'm not mistaken, it's a song called Struggle, and the other song is It's a Crime?
What is Destroy the Dance Floor involved?
The Story Dance Floor is an acoustic track as well. That's
the acoustic I meant. Yeah.
I think there's 3 tracks, right? I think it's 3. There's 3. One of them was when we did Roots Rock Riot. Mikey and Benji did an acoustic version of Destroy the Dance Floor. Yeah. Which never came out. And then there was a song called Struggle, which is another acoustic-based thing. Yeah. The whole band playing, and it's got like an orchestra and all this stuff.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, really like. I remember at the time I just wanted it to be like Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah, probably like a metal ballad.
Yeah, it's like a big ballad, and I just remember it. Like, I remember there's like all the cellos and the strings on it. It was really cool. So, but it didn't make the final cut because I think the album was such a high-paced album.
Yeah, it's like really like heavy, isn't it? Like with like I said, cameras in your face kind of thing.
Really in your face, and I think that was if we put that in there, it's going to break kind of flow unless you put it at the end. And I don't think anyone wanted it to be the last track. Do you know what I mean? I think with vinyl, I like, I'm really traditional with this. I like the first song to knock my head off on side 1, and then the end of side 1. I do want it to make sense of the next song on side 2. So traditionally, rock bands would go fucking hell for leather for tracks 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you put your ballad in the middle for track 5. Yeah. And then you go 6, 7, 8, 9.
Back at it.
Ballad again. That's how all the classic rock records, when you look at them, you turn them over and you go, okay, we've ended side 1 with a ballad, and now we're going to start backside 2 with Hell for Leather. Yeah. And we couldn't do that with Roots Rock because there were no vinyl back then. So it was just...
Just in case anybody's kind of wondering, with Skindred doing acoustic, because for me, I'm like, what? That's Skindred doing acoustic, like with orchestra. Like, that's pretty cool.
I think not necessarily live, but there's always been acoustic elements of the band and chill out things where we've taken it down. I think with this track, it was, our most rock ballad moment. No, and I think sometimes you've just got to let songs do what they're going to do. And, you know, we could have Skindredified it a bit more maybe, but I mean, for me, if it's got the band playing on it with Benji singing, it is Skindred. So, and that's what I've always loved about the band, is the fact that we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, you do as well. You completely mix it up, and I think it's great. Like, I haven't literally, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like me personally, I've not heard a band like you guys before. Like, unless people have tried to imitate afterwards, you know. But like you as the forefront, you guys, it's like this mix of so much stuff.
You know, I mean, for me, when looking at like bands that mix up genres, I always liked, you know, early Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
You know. Faith No More were, you know, a big one for me because back then, I mean, that's sort of not really their coolest period of like mixing hip hop and rock and the rapping and all that side of things. For us, it's you know, Benji with the dancehall and the drum and bass, you know, and the reggae influence, the ragga influence. I think it's, you know, I don't really know many bands that do it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I mean, it's a weird one. I think if you start trying to emulate something, you're already yesterday's news, aren't you?
Yeah, it's good to take influence, I think, from obviously people that inspire you. But yeah, there's been, I mean, I feel bad saying it, but a couple of things, like, I don't know if you know, but I've got a radio show on Feedback Radio, and a couple of the submissions I get, sometimes I hear things I think, that's massively ripped off Iron Maiden, or that's massively ripped off AC/DC. And when it's so obvious, it's really difficult to enjoy it, because you just think, I may as well go listen to AC/DC. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard, I think, for those, when something's so specific as well. And I think with, you know, you look at, like we spoke about Download, you look at the headliners, right?
Yeah.
All those headliners are different.
Mm-hmm.
They've got their thing. And that just, you know, and those bands that are trying to copy, they don't last as long. It's like, you have to look at new metal, and it was like Deftones are still number one, and no one thinks they're a new metal band. but they were.
Yeah.
They were lumped in with everyone. It's same with like Disturbed, same with Slipknot, same with Korn, even Limp Bizkit. I mean, then they're the big ones, aren't they? And they're all still doing it, because those bands don't sound like each other. It's the band that sound like them who have all just fallen away.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's hard.
It is hard.
No one wants. I don't want to go to a gig and watch. You know, if I'm going to see Iron Maiden, I want to watch Iron Maiden. I don't want to see 5 bands that sound like Iron Maiden before Iron Maiden. I'm like, snooze fest. No,
definitely. Let's talk a little bit about your tour that hopefully will go ahead, given COVID.
Hopefully, yeah.
Put your vinyl back. But it's called Showtime Tour, and you're going on, you're going to be doing it with Royal Republic, aren't you? Your friends in Royal Republic. And I just want to say to you guys that if that does happen, I believe it will go off, because people have been missing music so much.
I think that's exactly it. We've all been saying it, that when people can come to shows, I think people are just going to lose their minds.
Definitely.
You know,
I think especially to your music as well, it's going to give people a really good night.
I think it's fantastic, because I think Royal Republic share, even though they're a completely different musical band to us, they share exactly the same ethos, and the fact that they want to go out there and have fun and preach having a good time. And we do that from our live shows. Obviously, there are serious things in our lyrics and all that sort of side of things, but live, it just needs to be about letting your hair down, and they do that. It's not taking yourself too seriously. No disrespect at all, but I don't want to stand there for 9 minutes. Like, some people do, and that's great. But after the pandemic, I just want to shake around and have a good time. That's all I want.
Dancing that we said at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. You know, I was saying to my wife the other day, she's like, "Oh, you know, what could you do if you wanted to do something like right now?" I was like, "I want to go to the Ultimate Power Club night, so I can sing loads of songs and dance around. That'd be really fun." You know,
it's going to take place.
Sorry.
The tour that we're talking about is going to take place, hopefully, fingers crossed, in September, October time, isn't it? So our tickets on sale now. Are people pre-ordering at the minute? You know, because of uncertainty. Yeah. How's it going?
I mean, it's going well as far as I know. I mean, I am acting in my head, and the band are, and everyone else in the organisation, that it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Like, until we get a phone call from someone saying it's not happening, then it is. And so, I think we have to have things to look forward to.
Oh, of course, sure.
You know, it's like we have to have things to look forward to, and I think my hunch is September is probably, from what they've been saying on the news, everyone should be sorted by then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my only thing is if the venues don't get their shit together, because I think venues will have to use the guidelines with COVID and go, okay, well, how are we doing this? How are we going to do this to make people feel safe? Because I also think when shows do happen, people are going to be scared to go straight away.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has changed the mentality of people a little bit.
Whether or not, I mean, this is something we haven't discussed, but I don't know whether capacities would have to be dropped. And then that hasn't been spoken about with us. So I guess it's like, for any other band, it's like, okay, if you're playing, I don't know, the Roundhouse and there's 3,500 people in there, that's a sold out Roundhouse capacity at the moment. And it's like, where are those, are people going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's up to people, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed your tour goes ahead and that people can turn up and have a good time, because that's what, like you said, that's what you're all about, and you want to put a smile on people's faces. So
that's what we want. We need it. We need it. Just as much as everyone who wants to come, we need it too.
Yeah, sure.
That's
Definitely.
the thing.
I mean, I don't know how well you can sit at home and play your drums, in your house. Like, have you got neighbours you're gonna piss off at some point? So you're raring to get on stage.
I'm raring. I haven't played a drum kit since March last year.
Sideswipe question now. I ask everybody this one, and it's a bit of a random one, just kind of as we're starting to finish. But do you have a motto, a saying, or a quote that you like to live your life by?
Oh, that's good. I've never really thought about it. I've never really had a motto. Just be nice, be cool, be polite. I'm very big on etiquette.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, like please and thank yous.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm a bit of a old-fashioned like that. Open the door for people. So
it's good to have manners. That's a good one, and I feel like you've been throwing me out a few like vibes for mottos and sayings and things as we've gone along, because you've been going like, oh, we just like to put smiles on people's faces, and it's all about this, that, and the other. So
mottos make us the man. There you go.
Finally, on a final note, have you got a message that you would like to send out to Skindred fans, followers, lovers of your music? Have you got anything that you want to say to them or let them know?
It's a big thank you from us, because I think we see messages from them thanking us for music or videos that they've seen, getting them through, but I want to thank them for getting us through. It's the same thing. It's like knowing that people are drawing and having so much happiness from things that we've done. That's really important for us, just getting through lockdown where we can't do the things that we love doing, and so it's a big thank you for sticking with us, I think, and just we'll be there for you. Thank you for being there for us. That's it.
Ah, I love that. Great way to end. Listen, Arya, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great chatting.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much for having me. See you at the show.
Yes,
hopefully
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope so. Fingers crossed. I hopefully will be there. And I just want to say as well, we got there in the end. So thank you so much for sticking with me.
My pleasure. Yeah, thank you for your patience. I know we were sort of in and out to begin with, but it's all sorted now, so.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay, I will leave you to get on with the rest of your day. Have a great week.
Yeah, thank you so much.
See you later. Stay safe.
Roots Rock, Roots Rock.